What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Buzz. Garry explained his side of the backstage altercation with Chimaev after the event. According to Garry, he approached Arman Tsarukyan to congratulate him, then walked over to Chimaev with the same respectful attitude. He greeted him by saying, "Hey champ, when will we see you back?" Chimaev replied casually, slapped him on the back, and everything seemed friendly. Garry said a security guard stepped between them, even though the two had just been cordial. He insisted there was no tension until, suddenly, tried to shove him. Garry turned around and told him, "You're meant to be a champion in this sport, yet you're acting childish. Your friend just won, show him respect instead of trying to steal the headlines." Garry added that Chimaev's behavior looked like an attempt to appear tough for the cameras, saying, "You're the champion of the world. Nobody needs you to prove how tough you are. You don't need this anger or ego. Just be a man." He ended by saying he believes he will get his chance to face Chimaev someday. Chimaev also shared his version at the post-fight press conference. He claimed Garry touched him from behind in a way he didn't appreciate, saying, "Don't punch somebody from behind. If you want to show respect, touch someone respectfully." He accused Garry of trying to create unnecessary hype and compared him to someone acting like Conor McGregor, but insisted Garry would never be Conor. According to Chimaev, Garry was simply seeking attention rather than offering genuine respect. Before moving on to the next news, we have a quick request for you. We're always working to improve our content and truly value your support. If you could take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon, it would mean a lot to us. That way, you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. Dricus du Plessis recently drew parallels between the Islam Makachev, Victor Madalena fight and his own matchup with Chimaev. Speaking on Fight Forecast, du Plessis said he had predicted the outcome the previous weekend and fully expected it to be a difficult challenge for JDM. According to him, Makachev seemed to have an answer for every technique and adjustment Madalena attempted throughout the fight. He explained that the matchup reminded him of his experience facing Chimaev, noting that certain fighters possess a unique style that takes time to decode. Du Plessis emphasized that this is simply part of the sport's evolution. Different eras in the UFC have been dominated by particular approaches, and the current era is heavily influenced by dominant Russian-style wrestlers. These athletes, he said, excel in controlling opponents on the ground, neutralizing their strengths, and dictating the pace of the fight with exceptional grappling ability. While some fans may find this style less entertaining compared to striking heavy matchups, du Plessis pointed out that winning is ultimately the priority. If this method secures victories for fighters like Makachev and Chimaev, then it's understandable why they rely on it. He concluded by saying that this trend is simply part of the sport's natural progression, reflecting how certain skill sets rise to prominence during different periods in UFC history. Move on to another news. Paddy Pimblett recently linked up with Speed, and the two spent most of their time playfully roasting each other. From the moment they sat down, the banter started immediately. Pimblett joked that Speed sounded like he was from Alabama, repeating it with a laugh as Speed tried to figure out what he meant. They continued going back and forth, with Paddy bringing up a common phrase he hears from people: chicken and a can of Coke. Speed, completely confused, kept asking what Paddy was saying, trying to make sense of his accent. Pimblett repeated it several times, which only made the moment funnier as Speed struggled to understand him. Their energy stayed chaotic and entertaining. At one point, Paddy teased Speed by saying, "Good thing your name is Speed. You're slow, aren't you?" Speed insisted he had the wrong idea and joked right back, accusing Paddy of eating a fried egg sandwich with nothing on it and shoving it down his throat. The two then joked about fighting, asking viewers if they wanted to see them face off. Both played into the bit, with Speed insisting Paddy thought he was weak, while Paddy joked that the only thing Speed could beat him in was a race. Pimblett added that since he prefers kicking, Speed wouldn't even be able to run away. Speed argued he'd be too fast to catch, claiming Paddy wouldn't be able to get close to him. Paddy responded by saying that blocking kicks is part of the game and that Speed wouldn't surprise him with anything. Their back and forth stayed humorous, playful, and full of the typical chaotic energy fans expect whenever Speed is involved. Move on to another news. Georges St. Pierre recently shared the advice he gave to Kamaru Usman regarding the future of his MMA career. St. Pierre explained that he spoke with Usman while they were both in New York for a UFC event. Acknowledging that Usman is now in his late 30s, GSP told him that he understands the stage of life and career Usman is in, because he has been there himself. Usman told him he plans to make one more run, possibly one final stretch of fights. St. Pierre said that as someone who genuinely likes and respects Usman, he advised him to do what you need to do, get the last fight out of your system, but make sure you leave the sport on top. He emphasized that retiring at the peak of one's career is not only better for long-term health, but also for future business opportunities. According to GSP. When an athlete leaves as a champion, it may feel like money is being left on the table. The fighter's ego always suggests doing one more fight. He admitted the same thoughts crossed his mind before he retired. However, St. Pierre explained that by stepping away at the right time, a fighter's stock remains high, opening doors to new opportunities that can be more valuable over time. He contrasted this with the consequences of staying too long. If a fighter pushes themselves to the point of losing multiple fights in a row, both their legacy and their financial value decline. The immediate payout from continuing to fight might seem attractive, but in the long run, it can cost far more in missed business opportunities, lost reputation, and reduced career longevity outside the cage. St. Pierre concluded by saying that if he had retired on a 3-fight losing streak, his post-career opportunities would have been drastically different. For that reason, he wants Usman to make the smartest decision for both his health and his long-term future. Move on to another news. Robert Whittaker recently shared his thoughts on Paddy Pimblett's rise and his potential path to a lightweight title shot. Whittaker said he would like to see Pimblett eventually fight for the belt, but he believes Paddy should face either Max Holloway or Charles Oliveira first. Whittaker explained that a matchup with Holloway makes sense because it would be the kind of fight that could propel Paddy directly into title contention. He emphasized that Pimblett's growth has been exponential, pointing to his dominant performance against Jared Gordon and the increased focus and discipline he has shown in his recent fights. According to Whittaker, Paddy has been steadily sharpening his game and proving he can handle higher-level competition. He added that both potential matchups, Pimblett versus Oliveira or Pimblett versus Holloway, would be thrilling for fans. In his view, a fight between Oliveira and Paddy would be crazy, especially given Oliveira's elite ground game and Paddy's confidence in scrambles and submissions. A bout with Holloway, he said, would also deliver non-stop action and showcase Paddy's growth against one of the sport's most skilled strikers. Despite the excitement surrounding Pimblett, Whittaker stressed that the lightweight division's immediate priority should be Arman Tsarukyan. Still, he admitted he'd love to see Pimblett take on Oliveira, especially given how entertaining their exchanges would be once the fight hit the mat. Whittaker concluded by saying that regardless of who Paddy faces next, his continued improvement makes him one of the most intriguing rising contenders in the UFC. Move on to another news. Ilia Topuria sent a fiery message to Arman Tsarukyan earlier today after posting a video of the two crossing paths. Along with the clip, Topuria wrote, "Arman, every time we see each other in person, you freeze up like a scared duck with no idea what to do. You know I can handle you however I want. I fight whoever the UFC gives me. And remember, I slapped you, and you just laughed. Then you go around pretending to be a gangster. Keep going. You're on the right path. Just a few levels below me, kid." Tsarukyan quickly responded, dismissing Topuria's version of events. He wrote, "Bro, you touched my neck like we were taking a family photo, and now you're calling it a slap online. The clip is clear, and your insecurities are even clearer. I don't need to act tough on Twitter. My work is done inside the cage. If you want to know what a real slap feels like, I'll be happy to show you. See you soon." Tsarukyan further emphasized that Topuria has avoided calling out his name because he knows who the true top contender is. "He knows the number one and the real fighter is me," Arman said. He also addressed his readiness for a potential title opportunity. When asked whether he could accept a championship fight as early as January, Tsarukyan had no hesitation. "Of course, I can rest for 1 week, fly to the US, and spend 2 months preparing. That's enough time. I didn't take any damage, thank God. If the UFC offers it, I'm ready." He added that he expects the UFC to make an announcement soon, and hopes the fight with Topuria will be scheduled either in Las Vegas or Los Angeles. Confident in his preparation and momentum, Tsarukyan made it clear he is prepared to seize the opportunity if given the chance. Move on to another news. In a now-deleted tweet that was reshared by ACD MMA and Championship Rounds on X, Chimaev escalated his feud with Ian Machado Garry beyond their post-fight press conference remarks. Although both men had already addressed their confrontation publicly, the middleweight champion appeared eager to continue the exchange online. Chimaev briefly posted, "White boy, you will not survive 1 minute in my world," before deleting the message shortly afterward. His X profile now only displays a supportive post congratulating Arman Tsarukyan on his recent victory. This wasn't the first time Chimaev criticized Garry that night. During Tsarukyan's post-fight press conference, Chimaev addressed their backstage altercation and accused Garry of trying to create unnecessary drama. "Don't punch somebody from behind. Chimaev said. "He's slapping my back. If you want to show respect, respectfully touch somebody." He continued by suggesting that Garry approached him with the intent of generating hype rather than offering genuine respect. "He came there to make some hype. You know that guy's trying to be Conor, but he's never going to be Conor McGregor. He's a safe fighter." Despite the tension, Chimaev's deleted tweet added another layer to their ongoing rivalry. Garry has not yet publicly responded to the removed post, leaving fans waiting to see whether the conflict will remain online or eventually be settled inside the octagon. Move on to another news. Islam Makhachev has revealed that he came close to stepping in and stopping his own teammate's fight after a disastrous performance at UFC Qatar. Tagir Ulanbekov suffered a submission loss to the returning Kyoji Horiguchi in their flyweight bout, which opened Saturday's main card. The defeat marked Makachev's second setback of the night from his corner, following Sagid Isakhmev's split decision loss to Nicholas Dalby earlier in the event. After returning to Dagestan, the newly crowned welterweight champion addressed the media and reflected on the difficult night for his team. Makachev explained that as he watched Ulanbekov struggle, he seriously considered stopping the fight to protect his teammate. He noted that the performance raised major concerns, and he questioned whether Ulanbekov should continue competing in the flyweight division. According to Makachev, Ulanbekov's weight cut and preparation may have played a role in the lackluster showing. The champion emphasized that a fighter's health and career longevity should always come first, even if the immediate decision is tough. He added that after a loss like this, it becomes crucial for a fighter to reassess their future, training approach, and possibly their weight class. Makachev expressed confidence that Ulanbekov has the potential to bounce back, but stressed that changes are necessary. He believes Ulanbekov must evaluate whether the flyweight division is still the right fit, or if moving up could benefit his strength, endurance, and overall performance. Despite the setbacks, Makachev remains supportive, stating that losses are part of the sport and that true champions grow from difficult moments. The Dagestani champion concluded by noting that his team will regroup, analyze what went wrong, and help Ulanbekov find the best path forward. He reaffirmed his trust in his teammates and coaches while acknowledging that improvements must be made to prevent similar outcomes in future fights. Move on to another news. Former UFC heavyweight champion Jon Jones has explained why he turned down a reported $30 offer to face Tom Aspinall in a title unification bout. Before officially vacating the heavyweight championship and announcing his retirement, Jones had the opportunity to take on the then interim champion Aspinall. Despite the magnitude of the matchup and the massive payday involved, the American superstar made it clear that he was not interested. Jones, 28-1 MMA, 22-1 UFC, acknowledged that he did mention the $30 figure, but insisted that even he considered it unrealistic. Instead, he emphasized that money is no longer the primary driving force in his career. Speaking on a podcast, the 38-year-old explained that his ambitions and motivations have shifted dramatically over the years. While most fighters would leap at such a lucrative offer, Jones said that his priorities now extend far beyond financial gain. "My goals aren't traditional anymore," Jones said. "Most fighters wouldn't turn down $30 million, no one would. But my goals are different these days." His comments highlighted a more introspective phase of his life, signaling that he is no longer motivated solely by championships or financial rewards. Jones also revealed one personal aspiration that has grown increasingly meaningful to him: fighting at the White House. While unconventional, he cited it as something he would like to experience before fully closing the chapter on his combat career. "The White House would be something on my personal list," he added, hinting at ambitions rooted more in legacy and symbolism than in conventional athletic milestones. His remarks reflect a fighter who has accomplished nearly everything possible inside the octagon and is now more focused on unique personal achievements rather than traditional competitive goals. As Jones moves into the next phase of his life and career, his decisions appear to be guided by a desire for purpose and distinction rather than financial incentives or public pressure.